What's going on, guys? My name is Ted, and I'm so glad today to bring you some more Nexus news. This is the officially announced, officially released, official news by Google, and I've been so glad to see this because there's been so many rumors in the past. I'm glad that Google has finally come out today after the New York event got canceled, and they told us about their new Nexus devices. And let's get into the hardcore specs. These are completely confirmed, completely announced, and completely ready to be released by Google on November 13th. Let's get into this device. The Nexus 10 is now the Nexus 7 predecessor. It's a much bigger screen. It's a 10.1-inch screen versus the Nexus 7 has a 7-inch screen. And the main thing here is the display, the pixel density ratio. If you ever look at the iPad is a great seller because it has a really great display, a really crisp display. Well, this one blows the iPad out of the water. It's got a bigger screen at 10.1 inches, and it comes in with pixels by 2560 by 1600 pixels. This is a little over 4.1 million active pixels on the screen, which is a massive number of pixels, 4.1 million pixels on the screen, not even to mention the subpixels. This comes in at 300 pixels per inch, which is a 32 pixel per inch more than the iPad itself, the iPad, even the newer iPads. This is an HD PLS display with Gorilla Glass and Corning Glass too, so it's a very, very efficient, very, very strong display. You could crack this thing with a damn sledgehammer. I don't think it'll crack. Very, very strong display, and it's only 8.9 millimeters thick. Perfect example here. The Galaxy S3 is actually 8.9 millimeters thick as well, so you can see there, that's the thickness of your device. If that's too thick for you, you're out of luck, because that's really, really skinny for a tablet, especially one that's a 10.1-inch tablet. That's very, very skinny. However, it is a little bit heavy. It's 1.33 pounds. The main reason for this is because it's got a very big bezel on the device. Because they're packing so much heat inside this device, they got a big bezel for it, and personally, I don't like the way it looks. I'll go out and say that. I'll throw some photos up here so you can see it for yourself. I don't much care for the look of the device. I wish that they had made it a little less curvy, a little more squarey. When I'm holding a tablet, I got my Nexus 7 back there. I really like holding it just in my hands like this. I don't like having it be all curvy. It doesn't seem like it fit the curvature of my hands very well. But let's get back to specs and less personal opinion. As far as your cameras, you got a front and rear facing camera. The back one's coming with a 5 megapixel camera at 1080p full HD recording at 30 frames per second. This is great. This is grand. It's something the Nexus 7 definitely needed. I always like having rear facing cameras more than front facing cameras. And taking a photo with a front facing camera when you're trying to take a photo of something inside, out in front of you, is it's not easy. So I like that they have a rear-facing camera now finally. And they also retained the front-facing camera. However, they upgraded it to a 1.9 megapixel front-facing camera that records at 720p HD, which is good for all your conference calls, Skype calls, whatever you want to do. Or if you're just taking selfies right up there, you got a full 720p camera now, as opposed to the 480p camera, which was on the previous device. So I'm glad to see they upgraded that. As far as your storage options, you're coming with 16 gigabytes by default, or you can upgrade to 32 gigabytes for an extra $100. The pricing options on these is something like $399 for the 16 gigabyte option and $499 for the 32 gigabyte option. For an extra $100, you double your memory. If that's really important to you, go for it. If not, don't worry about it. Save your $100. Personally, I think 32 gigs is more than enough for a tablet. I think 16 is just perfectly fine and dandy, but it's personally up to personal opinion, so it's your choice entirely. If you got an extra $100 laying around, definitely go for the 32 gigabyte. As far as your processor, you're coming with a dual-core A15 Eagle processor. This is made by Samsung. It's a great processor. It's a very fast processor, and I'm pretty sure it's clocked at 1.7 gigahertz. However, that was not confirmed by Google. That's just what I've personally seen. Also, you're going with 2 gigabytes of RAM. This is another huge deal. It's going to increase the speed of your tablet even more. That processor mixed with this RAM, you're never going to notice lag. Samsung devices, especially the Nexus devices these days, just Android in general, you should never notice lag anymore. The way the OSs are now, they're just so great. They're just so efficient, so smart, and mixed with these massive processors and massive amounts of RAM, it's just a fluidity that you're never going to find on any other device. Even the iPhone is not going to be this fluid as this device will be. Speaking of fluidity, you're coming with Android 4.2, which increases even more software updates and hardware acceleration, more improvements. A full detailed list of the changelog for Android 4.2. I made a separate video, so if you haven't seen that, check out the link in the description below. That's kind of off-related. It's not just specific to this tablet, it's just an operating system in general. But they recently released the full changelog of what's going to happen in Android 4.2 Jelly Bean. It's an extension of 4.1 Jelly Bean, so it's not a full new name upgrade. It's not going to be Key Lime Pie like everyone was rumored and expecting. It's staying at 4.2 because the changelog is not as massive as we've seen in the past. So it's a lot of updates, but not quite a full point upgrade like what I was hoping to get to 5.0. Instead, it stays at 4.2 Jelly Bean. So full changelog, link down below. Finishing this out, it comes with a 9,000 milliamp hour battery, which is more than enough. It's much more than the iPad has, and I think it's like 10 hours of 10 hours of video playback, something like that. They said more than enough. I know batteries that should be plenty for a full days of activity. And you're also coming with dual side NFC, so no longer do you have to rub your phone on the back of your device hoping for it to connect. It's got dual sided NFC, so you've got a much bigger battery back there for it to connect to. So hope you guys enjoyed this review. Hope you guys learned some of the specs, learned some information. Hopefully you guys eased your thoughts on whether or not to buy this device. I definitely suggest it. It's a beautiful device. If you're wondering this or the iPad, save the extra couple $100 and get this device. It's much better and it's much cheaper, so there's really no reason not to get this over the iPad unless you just like Apple. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed this review. Be sure to leave a like if you did, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.